Good morning, dears, and welcome to Super Coaching for UPSC by Testbook. Let me know, I am audible? Am I audible? I think I am audible. So, today we meet here to discuss one of the very important topic of Indian economy, and that is planning. And I am your mentor for economy, Pradeep. So, let's start our today's session. So, when we talk about planning, what do you understand by planning? Definitely we will understood that what is meaning of planning, but before that let me tell you that why we need planning. What is importance of planning? Why any individual? Good morning dears. Naveen, good morning. So, am I audible? So, let me tell you that what is, why planning is needed and what is importance of planning, why we are supposed to do planning, what is need for that. Planning is needed because, as I always say, that in any economy resources are always limited, be the case of natural resources or be the case of man-made resources. So, resources are always limited in any economy. Resources are always limited, or there is scarcity of resources. There is scarcity of resources. So, that means resources must be utilized to its best manner. Resources must be utilized to its best manner so that we can maximize our production, and when we will be in position to maximize our production, then only we can take measures for the welfare. So, the thing is, why we need planning? We need planning because in any economy resources are limited and those resources need to be utilized optimally. And for the optimum utilization, there is need to have the management of resources, that how much we need to have the for the production, how much we need for distribution, how much we need for consumption. So, that means need of planning is just to manage the resources, because in any economy resources are limited. So, in order to maximize the production so that we can maximize the welfare of the people, resources need to be managed. And that's why, since resources need to be managed, that's why how we are going to manage the resources, for that we need planning. For that we need planning. I think it is clear. Now, we are going to proceed further. Now, we will try to understand that what is meaning of planning. What is planning as such? Planning is nothing but thinking about the activities and organizing the activities needed for achieving the desired goal. What is planning? Planning is process of thinking about. Planning is process of thinking about and organizing activity to get required result. So, what is that required result? That required result is welfare of the people, and for the welfare of the people we need resources or we need production, and production can be maximized only when there is management of resources, because resources are limited. So, what is planning? Planning is the process of thinking about and organizing activity required to achieve desired goal. And in case of India, what is that desired goal? That desired goal is welfare of the people, or to establish equalitarian society, to establish equalitarian society or the welfare of the maximum people, to reduce disparity, especially economic disparity, and for that we need planning. Therefore, planning involves creation and maintenance of plans. So, first we understood that what is planning. Planning is thinking about the process of thinking about and organizing required activities in order to get desired result. And what is our desired result? Welfare of the people. And how we can ensure the welfare of the people? We can ensure the welfare of people by having the maximum production. And for production can be done through the resources, and those resources are limited. So we need to manage those resources, and that management of resources is nothing but planning. So how we are going to manage those resources in order to get maximum output or maximum production, that is nothing but planning. I think it is very clear. Okay. So when we talk about the planning or economic planning, so as I said that it is about the management of resources or distribution of resources and consumption of resources. So for management of resources, there can be three type of system. Let me tell you that for the management of resources, there can be three type of system, that is known as economic system. Economic system. For management of resources, there can be, we need to manage the resources in order to have maximum production, and that management is nothing but planning. And for that planning, for that management, there can be three type of economic system. One is known as socialist system, other is known as capitalist system, other is known as mixed economy. Mixed economy. Mixed economy. Other is mixed economy. So when we talk about the socialist means the resources are going to be owned by the government. That means the ownership of the resources belongs to government only. That is socialist pattern. So all the resources are going to be owned by government, but there is drawback. That means this is going to ensure the social justice, because the government is going to distribute the resources, that what type of production they want to, how much production they want to, they are going to regulate each and everything. That means it is going to reduce the liberty of the people. Other type of resources can be, other type of economic system for managing resources can be capitalist economy or capitalist system. Under the capitalist system, the resources are being owned by the private individual or by the market forces. What is market forces? That means demand and supply. The ownership of resources belong to private individual, private entity, and they are going to produce as per the need of market. That means they are going to produce those things, they are going to distribute those things which are demanded in the economy. And they produce, that means whosoever has ability to pay, they can only consume the goods and services in capitalist society. In capitalist society, only those people can have the consumption of the resources, consumption of goods or services, who has the paying ability, because they are going to produce as per the need of market, as per the demand of market, and demand of market is going to be on the basis of paying ability. So the biggest drawback of capitalist economy for managing the resources is this does not ensure the social justice. That means there will be gap between haves and have-nots. Because this does not ensure social justice. This cannot ensure the welfare. There will be disparity between the rich and poor. And our objective is to have the maximization of maximum welfare of the pupil. So, this is the drawback here is that it reduces the liberty of the pupils. That means here each and everything is going to be decided by the government itself. What to produce, how much to produce, for whom to produce, at what cost to produce, at what price to sell, that is going to be decided. That means there is no incentive or no motivation for the private individual to do the business. So, what is, and in case of capitalist society, there is motivation because there is profit, but they produce only for those people who have the paying capability. That's why. That means the capitalist society do not, or capitalist economy do not ensure social justice. Therefore, other type of system is known as mixed economy. Mixed economy. That means mixed economy means there is going to be ownership of the private individual as well as the factor of production or the resources are going to be owned by the government as well. So, in mixed economy, that means ownership belongs to both. That means there is private individual in the business process, at the same time there is government as well. So, this is going to ensure, or this is going to have the characteristic of both system. So, that's why when we got independence, we adopted a mixed economy, because our objective was to have, or not was, rather it is that our objective is to ensure welfare of the pupil or to ensure maximum welfare, and we want to ensure social justice. That's why we adopted both that means system which ensure both characteristic, that is nothing but mixed economy. So, under this mixed economy, when we talk about that means mixed economy is a type of system through which we are going to manage our resources. And what type we are going to manage resources, that is nothing but planning. So, that means for planning, it is very clear that for managing the resources, what type of system we will adopt? Mixed economy. And this, to ensure this, that for managing the resources, for having the ownership of resources, we are going to ensure the mixed economy. That was the first step towards the planning. So, when we decided this, that we are going to have the mixed economy, that is nothing but economic planning, that we differentiate, we ensure that what type of system we are going to adopt. So, what is planning? Planning is management of resources, and for the management of resources, what type of system we are going to adopt? That is nothing but economic planning, and that is nothing but mixed economy. So, when we adopted the mixed economy after the independence, we were more tilted towards the socialist system. Although we were having the mixed economy, but we were more tilted towards the socialist system. Nowadays, we are more tilted towards the capitalist system. And in entire world, no country can claim that they are entirely capitalist, socialist. Okay, that means there can be, okay, percentage. Some country may be more socialist, whereas other country may be more capitalist. But most of the country are having the mixed economy. So, that is the case of that how we are going to manage the resources. That is first step towards the manage for ensuring that management of resources, and that was nothing but planning. That was nothing but we adopted the mixed economy. Now we are going to focus that what is the objective of what we want to achieve through this planning. Okay, we understood that what is planning. First we decided that for planning what system we are going to adopt. Planning means for management of resources, what type of system we are going to adopt. So first we decided that it must be a mixed economy, but in starting we were more tilted towards the socialist pattern, whereas nowadays we are more tilted towards the capitalist. So after that, what is planning? Planning is nothing but thinking about the process, the process of thinking about and organizing required activity to get the desired. So for that we are going to manage the resources. Okay, and we for that we decided our objective for the welfare of the people, for maximum welfare of the people. We decided our objective, that what we are going to achieve through that planning, what we want to achieve. That is nothing but objectives of planning. So what is objectives of planning? When we talk about the objectives of planning, that objective very first is, the very first objective of planning, let me change the color of the pen, so that the very first objective of the planning was to ensure the economic growth. That means maximum production. As I said that through the planning we want to achieve the welfare society, and for ensuring the welfare there is need to have maximum production, and for having maximum production there is need to have the economic growth. That continuous increase in the economic growth is nothing but economic growth. So for the, that means our objective was very much clear, that what we want to achieve, the welfare of the people, maximization of welfare. And for that, the thing is, very first objective was that for the welfare there should be production. So that means that the very first objective is going to be to ensure the economic growth. That means to increase the production capacity, to increase GDP, to increase per capita income, to increase national income. This was our objective, very prime objective, welfare of the people, and for the welfare of the people we need to have the economic growth. Second objective we can say to ensure social justice. Social justice means, and welfare can be done when there is social justice. Egalitarian society, to establish egalitarian society, that means there should be minimum disparity. And for that what should be, that for the to ensure justice, that means there should be this minimum disparity between the rich and poor. And for that there is need to have high rate of employment. So we ensure that there should be employment, not only high rate of employment, but also there should be reduction in poverty. Not only there should be reduction of inequality. As I said that although we adopted the mixed economy, but we have not focused on capitalist. In the starting, we were more tilted towards the socialist to ensure that social justice. To ensure social justice. Am I audible? Is it making sense? Is there any doubt to anyone? So, this was, And for ensuring social justice, there should be employment to the pupils, there should be reduction in the poverty, and there should be reduction in inequality, and especially economic inequality. Then other objective was, or other objective is self-reliant, self-reliant, just to be self-sufficient. And what is that self-sufficient? That we should be self-sufficient in agriculture production or food production, especially food production. We should be self-sufficient in forex, foreign exchange reserves. We should be self-sufficient in technical know-how. We should be self-sufficient in agriculture. Therefore, second plan was completely focusing on agriculture, whereas third plan was focused on food production. Fourth plan was focused on forex, for and sixth plan was focused on technical know-how. So other objective was to be self-sufficient or to be self-reliant, and to be self-reliant for agriculture, in case of agriculture, to be self-sufficient for food production, to be self-sufficient in forex, to be self-sufficient in technical know-how. That's why we devoted 5-year plans separately for the development of these. Second 5-year plan was devoted to the agriculture development. Third 5-year plan was devoted to the increase in food production. That's why we did green revolution. Fourth plan was devoted to the increase in forex, foreign exchange, and sixth plan was completely focused on self-sufficient in technical know-how. So I think it is clear. When we talk about the next other objective is sustainable development. That we need to have the economic growth, but that economic growth must be sustainable. It must not be at the cost of environment, like it has happened in case of developed country. So this is also objective of our planning. So what we can say, that what is the objective of our planning? First is to have the economic growth, so the maximum welfare of the people, and for that we need to maximize our production or economic growth. For the second is to have the social justice. For that we need to increase the employment. For that we need to reduce the poverty. For that we need to reduce uh, inequality, especially economic inequality. Third thing, we want to ensure the self-reliance or self-sufficiency in agriculture production, food production, forex, and technical know-how. And next, another objective can be sustainable development, that we want to develop but not at the cost of environment, like it has happened in case of developed country. So these were the objectives of planning in India. So these were the objectives of planning in India. Now, when we are going to focus further, we are going to discuss the history of planning in India. So first of all, that in 1938, M. Viswasaraya published a book, Planned Economy for India. When we talk about the history of planning in India, we can say that the first step towards that is taken by M. Viswesaraya in 1938 when he published his book Planned Economy in India, and for that he constructively drafted the plan for development of India in next 10 years. So that was the first step. In other steps, we can say that when the national plan was, that means develop a national plan. Other we can say that that first steps towards the national plan was came up in 1938. Came up in 1938 when the then president of Congress Subhash Chandra Bose constituted National Planning Committee under the chairmanship of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in Haripura session. Then after that, that means pupils started to give advice for the development or for the development of Indian economy or for the welfare of the people, because welfare of the people can be done when there is production, maximum production. As I said that without wealth there cannot be welfare. Okay, so that means in that regard only in 1944, 8 industrialists of Bombay, they came with a plan that is known as Bombay Plan, which was talking about the holistic development of Indian economy. That is popularly known as Bombay Plan. That is popularly known as, it was established in RBI. Okay, that was established on the recommendation of Hilton Young Committee. That in 1934 we passed the RBI Act. Okay, and that was on the Hilton Young Committee, and it was in the private sector. So it was established in private sector. Okay, and it was established on the recommendation of Hilton Young Committee. Satya Sanatan, is it okay? Okay, and today we are not discussing RBI, but still RBI was established on the recommendation of Hilton Young Committee in the private sector, and it was nationalized in 1937. Okay, so it was nationalized in 1949. Okay, 1937 that the headquarters was shifted from Kolkata to Mumbai. Earlier the headquarters was in Kolkata, Dadar and Calcutta. Okay, so now, so in 1949 that 8 industrialists came with the plan known as Bombay Plan, and they were talking about holistic development of Indian economy for maximization of welfare. After that, there was something known as People's Plan, and this People's Plan was advocated by M.N. Roy. And in the People's Plan, M.N. Roy most priority, or they emphasized on for development of agriculture on priority basis, or we can say that nationalization of agriculture, because it was inspired by the Marxist view, and Marxist was a socialist. They were socialist, and they were talking about the nationalization of resources. So that means M.N. Roy came with the plan that is known as People's Plan, and People's Plan, and that in that People's Plan, that maximum priority was given to the agriculture, and for that development of agriculture, he advocated, or M.N. Roy advocated, that there should be nationalization of agriculture production. That is known as People's Plan. That was about the People's Plan. We are talking about history, how the development took place. Then after that, there is Gandhian Plan. Gandhian Plan, and it was advocated by Sriman Narayan. He was that principal of Bardha Commercial College, and that means he was inspired by the Gandhian principle. Very late, Ravi Shankar ji, my dear. Now we are going to proceed further, and we are going to discuss that Gandhian Plan was advocated by Sriman Narayan, who was principal of Bardha Commercial College, and he was inspired by Gandhian principle, and for that he was talking about that decentralization of planning and rural development, and for the rural development there should be cottage industry, promotion of cottage industries. That Gandhian plan was advocated by Sriman Narayan, and he was inspired by Gandhian principle. That's why he said that there should be decentralization of plan, and maximum focus should be on rural development. And for that, what should be there? For that, there should be promotion of cottage industries. This was the that means idea of Sriman Narayan under the Gandhian plan. When we talk about further, in 1950, Jayaprakash Narayan came with a plan that is known as Sarvodaya Plan. Sarvodaya Plan. This was inspired by Gandhian and Sarvodaya idea of Vinoba Bhave. This Sarvodaya Plan was inspired by the Gandhian ideas as well as Vinoba Bhave idea of Sarvodaya. And that's why it was emphasized on agriculture, development of agriculture, so that rural development can take place. And for that, Jayaprakash Narayan advocated for the promotion of small and cottage industries. This promotion of small and cottage industry was very near to the heart of Gandhiji. My dears, class starts at 8:30. It is not about the notification. Now I am telling you people that class starts at 8:30. My dears, keep in mind that class starts at 8:30 daily. And to join, to get the PDF of this all lectures, just join my Telegram ID. Telegram. Join me on Telegram. Pradeep Testbook. Search Pradeep Testbook. Join it. You will get the PDFs of my lectures there. So we were talking about the Sarvodaya Plan. So I think this is very clear. And in 1944, the British Indian government also took a step, and they set up a planning and development department. In 1944, towards the planning, Ravi Shankar, still nowadays we see MSME encouraging by government is also something modern for the Gandhian ideas, sir. Yeah, definitely it is based upon Gandhian idea. But the thing is, when we develop the MSMEs, that in case of India, when we, as I said that in the starting we were tilted towards the socialist pattern or socialist ideas. That means there was ownership of the resources to the private individuals. But when we adopted LPG, liberalization, privatization, that means we tilted towards capitalist, we tilted towards more capitalist. Okay, because socialist lead to the over bureaucratization and red tapeism, and because of that efficiency of economy reduces. Okay, and because of that that means there was lot many corruption and red tapes. That's why we were having lot many problems in our economy, and we were not having sufficient forex. Even we have forex only for 14 days. So we adopted, not intentionally or not willingly, but by force we adopted LPG. Okay, when their pupils do not have any that means opportunity to take decision, it is very easy to take decision. Okay, so we that means forced to take LPG reforms. Okay, so when we adopted the LPG reforms, so we got the capitalist system. That means we became more closer to the capitalist system. Please dears, try to understand. When we became more capitalist system, so that means we have economic growth. We have high economic growth, but high economic growth rate with high rate of unemployment, because capitalist system is going to produce, capitalist system is going to produce only for the people who have the paying capability, paying capability. So there was production, but there was economic disparity. The production was there, but high rate of unemployment was also there. High economic growth with high rate of unemployment. That's why nowadays we are promoting MSMEs, so that MSMEs works. That means that is not capital intensive. That means industries, modern industries are capitalist in nature. That means they use the capital or that machine for the production, whereas MSMEs is labor intensive. So when we are promoting the labor intensive the system or MSMEs, we will be in position to employ more people, so that we can reduce unemployment rate. So that is the focus. Ravi Shankar, is it okay? So that's why undoubtedly, that means Gandhiji want to that there should be the maximum employment, and MSME is labor intensive, and that means because of more closer to the capitalist system, there was high economic growth rate with high unemployment. So now we want to have that high economic growth rate with high employment rate, and for that we are promoting labor intensive industries, that is MSMEs, so that we can take care of unemployment. I think it is clear. So now the thing is, we are going to proceed further, and we are going to discuss that in 1944, that British India government set up a planning and development department, under the chairmanship of Ardeshir Dalal. But this was abolished in 1946. That means it existed only for two years, and that means final step or in 1946 the interim government that means set up a planning advisory board, and the responsibility or the accountability of planning advisory board was to have review the plans and to review the future products. So this is about the history of planning in India. Now we are going to proceed for the types of planning, and please dears, try to understand, this is very important, and this is conceptual, so I will try to, and the thing is, please have 100% focus for understanding the types of planning. So what are the types of planning? When we talk about the types of planning, we can say that imperative planning, indicative planning, centralized planning, decentralized planning, democratic planning, financial planning, physical planning, perspective planning, comprehensive planning, partial planning, fixed plans, rolling plans. And we will discuss all these one by one. So let me start. This imperative planning is also known as authoritarian planning or directive planning. What happens in indicative planning? That, as I said, that when we adopted we started or we thought about to have the plannings, we were more closer to the socialist pattern. Although we adopted the mixed economy, but we were more closer to the socialist pattern. Since we were more closer to the socialist pattern. So although the resources was owned by the private sector as well as government, but government was giving the directions for production to the private sector. That means government was not only, that means they were that means maximum resources was owned by the government and they were doing the production and through the PSUs, but also they were giving directions to the private sector that what to produce, how much to produce, at what price to produce, for whom to produce. That directions were coming from the government to the private sector, and that type of planning is known as imperative planning or authoritarian planning. That means we can say that up to 1991 or before that 1978 or 79, that we were having the indicative planning, we were having the sorry, imperative planning, we were having the imperative planning. Imperative planning is known as authoritarian planning or directive planning. What happened under this? That means government gives the direction to the private sector that what to produce, how to produce. That's why there was a license Raj. Government was giving license to the private sector for the production. That means the economic activities were highly regulated, rigidly regulated by the government. In the imperative planning, the economic activities are rigidly or highly regulated by the government. They were giving the direction to the private sector that what to produce, how to produce, how much to produce, whom to produce. Each and every indication was coming or direction was coming from the government, and that is known as imperative planning. And because of that, it reduces the efficiency of our economy. That's why there was bureaucratization, there was license Raj, permit Raj, red tapeism. It was leading to the corruption and it was leading to the downfall of efficiency of the system. That's why after LPG we tilted towards the capitalist, more closer to the capitalist. The other is indicative planning. Indicative planning means government gives the indication. That means government is not regulating economic activities. Rather, government is giving the indication to the private sector to produce certain things and not to produce certain things by incentive and disincentives. Okay, here also the indication is coming, but it is not regulating. They are not going to regulate. That means they are giving the indication that this much, this should be produced, this should be produced for the welfare of the society. Okay, and that is through the incentives and disincentives. That is known as indicative planning. Other is centralized planning. What is centralized planning? That plan is being prepared by the union government and that is implemented in the entire country. That means the single plan is that constructed for entire country at the union level and that is implemented in all the states. That is known as centralized planning. That is known as centralized planning. So that is known as centralized planning. Now we are going to focus on decentralized planning. That decentralized planning means plan is being prepared from top to bottom level. That means plan is prepared at the union level, plan is prepared at the district level, plan is prepared at the tehsil level, plan is prepared at village level, block level, plan is prepared at village level, top to bottom. That is known as decentralized planning. And this decentralized planning is going to be done with the help of democratic planning. What is democratic planning? When plan is going to be prepared, that pupils are going to be, that pupils' advice is going to be taken care. That means when plan is going to be prepared, pupils' advice is going to be consideration. Pupils are consulted in plan preparation. That is known as democratic planning. Individuals or the pupils or the citizens are consulted in the preparation of plan. That is known as democratic planning. One is financial planning. What is the meaning of financial planning? Please dear, listen me and listen me very carefully. What is the meaning of financial planning? That estimation and allocation of resources is being done in terms of money value, in money value. Please try to understand. Let me first explain, then I will. With an example, financial planning means resources are estimated and allocated in money terms. In money terms. First, resources are estimated. That suppose we want to construct a road. Okay. So what we are going to do? We are going to have the planning, and for that planning, we are going to that means going to estimate that how much we need that raw material, how much and what we needed to construct this road, and after that we are going to calculate the money value of all that products. Okay, suppose we want to make a road, so we need a we need coal tar, we need bricks, and we need labor force, and we need a lot many things. So whatever we need, we are going to calculate the cost of each and everything in money value. That is known as financial planning. Okay. So financial planning, what is the meaning of financial planning? That resources, that means, are estimated and allocated in money terms. That how much, that finally we are going to reach that 100 crore or 200 crore is needed for constructing this particular road. So that is nothing but financial planning. And how we reach for 100 crore or 200 crore, that we are going to that estimate the cost of raw material, we are going to estimate the cost of labor force, we are going to estimate the cost of engineering. Each and every cost is going to be taken care. Then the monetary value to that cost is going to be given. That is known as, yes, in budget estimation we have financial planning. Yeah, definitely. In budget estimate we have the financial planning. Yeah. So that is the case of financial planning. Now we are going to discuss the fiscal planning. What is the meaning of fiscal planning? That estimation and allocation of resources is being done in real value. Real value means in terms of labor force, in terms of capital stock, in terms of other resources. Okay. What does it mean? Please dears, listen me. So what is physical? Physical planning means Physical planning means resources are estimated and allocated in real terms. Real terms means we are going to estimate that how much we need labor force, how much we need capital stock, how much we need raw material, how much we need other things. If we are going to have this idea, that is nothing but physical planning. When we are going to give it a monetary value, then we are going to have financial planning. Then we are going to have financial planning. Now, we are going to discuss the next concept, that is perspective planning. Please listen me. Perspective planning. So, what is the meaning of perspective planning? Perspective planning means that analyzing the consequences of current policies in future. That what is going to be. Perspective planning refers to, that means having the idea that what consequences are going to be in future when we are implementing the policies. Okay, that means we are implementing the policies now. Okay, and when we are implementing the policy now, how this policy is going to have the effect in future, whether it is going to have negative effect or it is going to have positive effect. So definitely positive effect. Okay, so we are going to analyze the positive effect, that if we are going to take this action, this action, this action, this action, how it is going to be beneficiary in future. That is nothing but perspective planning. Perspective planning. What is planning? Planning is nothing but differentiating between the short term objective and long term objective, and coordinating, that means taking the actions for the short term objective and ensuring short term objective, and it must be in coordination to your long term objective. So what is our long term objective in planning of India? That is welfare of the people, and for that welfare of people, what we need to have in short term? We need to have high economic growth rate, we need to have social justice, we need to have high employment rate, we need to have reduction in poverty. So this is the meaning. So I think it is very clear that perspective planning, comprehensive planning. Now we are going to discuss the next concept, that is comprehensive planning. That means in case of comprehensive planning, all sectors are going to be taken care. That means for the comprehensive planning, we are going to have plan for agriculture sector, we are going to have plan for primary sector, we are going to have plan for secondary sector, we are going to have plan for tertiary sector, etc. That is known as comprehensive planning. Okay, that means we are going to take care in planning process all the sectors of economy. That is known as comprehensive planning. What is partial planning? Partial planning means we focus on a specialized sector. That means if we are going to focus that there should be development of agriculture sector, so that means we are going to take measures for the development of agriculture sector. That is nothing but partial planning. We are going to take measures for the development of agriculture sector. That is nothing but partial planning. I think it is clear. Now we are going to proceed further and we are going to discuss the fixed plans. What is the meaning of fixed plan? Fixed plans means each and everything remains fixed. That is, there is not going to be any change. Be the case of terms, be the case of resources, be the case of objective. That means in the fixed plans, objectives, terms and resources are fixed. There is seldom any change in any that means resource or any objective of under the fixed plan. Okay, what is rolling plan? What is rolling plan? Rolling plan means making a midterm, each year making a midterm plan and evaluating its efficiency in long term. That means when Janata Party came into power in 1977, please listen me carefully. Let me give you a background, then it will be more easy for you people to conceptualize it. And what are the significance and what are the drawbacks of this rolling plan, we are going to discuss here itself. What is the meaning of rolling plan? That means rolling plans means making a midterm plan. Midterm plan, that means 5-year plan. Each year we are going to make a midterm plan and going to evaluate its significance according to the conditions in the economy. Conditions in the economy. That is known as rolling plan. Meaning, when in 1977 Janata Party came into power, that means they made a plan in 1978, 5-year plan, that was 1983. That means in 1979 they again make a plan for 1984. In 1980 they again make a 5-year plan for 80-85. But in 1980 the government collapsed. Okay, so what is the meaning? Please try to understand. Okay, what is the meaning of that means rolling plan? Means your objectives keep rolling. That means what it happens, that each year the government is going to make midterm plans and going to evaluate the significance of those midterm plans according to the condition, that whether in the economy whatever we have decided the objective can be achieved or not, so that we can adjust our plans or we can adjust our resources, we can adjust our objective. That is known as rolling plan. But it is not as healthy, because if you keep rolling on your objectives, your resources, then you will reach nowhere. Okay, suppose you took example of you people only, that day and day after you are going to change your study plan, and that means you are not going to reach anywhere. So that means first fix your objectives, that I want to complete this, and for that I need to spend that much hour. Okay, that is fixed plan. But at the same time there can be some situation, emergency situation. So that means the rolling plan is the that means idea in which the emergency provision, emergency situation can be accommodated. Okay, so this is about the types of plan. Now we are going to proceed further, and we are going to discuss the planning commission. We are going to discuss the planning commission. After that we will focus on the functions of planning commission, then we will focus on the critics of planning commission, and then we will stop it. Okay, so let me tell you that planning commission was established in 1950. Okay, that by the government. Okay, March 1950, by the government resolution. Okay, so what is the meaning of it? The meaning is that planning commission is not a constitutional body nor a statutory body, rather it is a extra constitutional body. Okay, or we can say that it is a executive body. What it mean? That constitutional body means, let me tell you people, that constitutional body means that the constitution itself has the provision for this that type of institution, like finance commission. Under article 280, we have the provisions for finance commission. So finance commission is a constitutional body. Okay, so constitutional body means that constitution itself has the provision regarding that body. Okay, what is a statutory body? Statutory body means that the parliament has passed the act, and by parliament has passed the act, and by statute that government has established a body. Government has established a body like UGC, that is nothing but a statutory body. Okay, that parliament passed a act, and through that act the UGC is going to get withdraw their powers and functions and responsibility. That is statutory. Non-executive, or we can say that executive body, that means by the cabinet resolution. That means many times when government feels that there is need of a particular body, they can pass a cabinet resolution and they can constitute a body that is known as executive body. Okay, that is under the delegated legislation. Leave it. Okay, because we are not going to discuss polity, we are here to discuss economy. So that means it is a extra constitutional body or executive body. Okay, so that means it is being passed by the cabinet resolution. This is being constituted by the cabinet resolution. So planning commission was constituted by the cabinet resolution in March 1950. Okay, and next concept we can discuss that Prime Minister of India is ex officio chairman of planning commission. Was Prime Minister, this is no more, this has been that means dissolved. Okay, planning commission has been dissolved in 2014, August 2014. And why, we will discuss that. Okay, don't worry. So that means what I want to say, that the Prime Minister is ex officio chairman. Recommendation of planning commission, or sir, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar recommended planning commission, or what was role of Ambedkar? As I said that since 1934, when we had that Biswa Saraiya published their book, okay, from that time only we want to have the, that our objective was very much clear: welfare of the people, welfare of the people. It was very clear that we want to have the welfare, maximum welfare. So, and especially downtraded, because when we got independence, there was very much disparity, because there was Ambanis and sorry, not Ambanis, there was Tatars. Okay, and at the same time there was rickshaw pullers. Okay, so that means resources, maximum resources was constant among few. So there was social disparity and economic disparity, and to ensure social justice we need to have the planning, and to make plan there was need to have a body, na? There was need to have a institution who can take care of that planning. Okay, so that was nothing but it was consensus among the member of Constituent Assembly. Okay, before that we discussed, na, 1946 interim government made the planning board, National Planning Board, and that National Planning Board was converted into Planning Commission. Okay, I think it is very clear. So we were discussing that Prime Minister is ex officio chairman. Is it clear, Ravi? Is it clear? So it was not only Ambedkar, rather this was consensus. Okay, among unanimous decision by the members of Constituent Assembly. So what we were talking about? We were talking about the Prime Minister. Prime Minister was ex officio chairman of Planning Commission. What is the meaning of ex officio chairman? That means by virtue of having one position, the individual is going to hold another position. That is the meaning of ex officio. So being the Prime Minister of India, that means that individual is automatically going to be chairman of Planning Commission. So whosoever is Prime Minister of India, that is going to be chairman of Planning Commission. That is the meaning of ex officio chairman. Okay, and there was deputy chairman of Planning Commission was also, who was executive of Planning Commission. Okay, and last deputy chairman of Planning Commission was Dr. Montek Singh Ahluwalia. Okay, and so that was okay. Now when we talk about the terms, members and qualification of Planning Commission, term is not fixed. As I said that this is a advisory body and it advise to the government. So this is discretion of the government to constitute. So when new government is going to, they can constitute their body. Okay, so that means term is not fixed. It depends upon the tenure of the government. And next thing, when we talk about the qualification, qualification is also not fixed, but maximum that most of the people are, or most of the members are having the knowledge of economics. Most of the members have the knowledge of economics. When we talk about the members, that members are also not fixed. okay, but members have the knowledge of economics. At the same time, cabinet members can also be member of planning commission. So this is about the planning commission, and this was abolished by default. Whosoever is prime minister, that is automatically, that is I talked about that ex officio means by virtue of holding one position is going to hold another position. Okay, so this is about the planning commission. Now we are going to focus on the functions of planning commission. So my dears, please try to understand, and here when we are discussing the function, there only I am going to criticize also, and then we will make a background for Niti Aayog. Okay, that critics of planning commission is nothing but need for Niti Aayog. Critics of planning commission is nothing but need for Niti Aayog. So what is the functions of that? As I said that this is economic advisory body. Economic advisory body, so it gives the advice to the government regarding the economic matters, and for that what is the most important function of planning commission was, the most important function of planning commission was to estimate the resources in the country and to make plans for the maximum utilization of resources. Very first was, please try to understand, first is to have the estimation of resources, how much resources we have, estimation of resources, and to make plans for resource utilization. This was the most important, resource utilization. This was the most important function. This was the most important function of planning commission. The very first is they are going to have the estimation that how much resources we have, okay, and accordingly they are going to make a plan. Okay, so this was the function, and second function was that these plans are going to be, okay, that it is not like that the planning commission is going to constitute a plan, that plans are going to be constituted by different ministry on the ministry level. Okay, so that and final approval is going to be done. That means whatever plans is being constituted or being prepared, or whatever draft is being prepared by concerned ministry, that is going to have approval from planning commission. That was that had approval from the planning commission. Final approval was from the planning commission. So that means, and as a role for final approval of planning of plans, he was the playing a role of coordination coordination among different ministries. Please dears, and from here only there was conflict, ego conflict. Please try to understand what I want to say, that as I said that the main function of the planning commission was to have the estimation of resources and to make the plans accordingly. But the thing is, it is not like that planning commission is going to make the plans, rather plans was being constituted regarding the different ministry to the concerned ministry. Okay, if a plan is being constituted regarding agriculture, it is going to be constituted by the agriculture ministry. Okay, similarly if plan is going to be constituted by the for the development of rural society, that is going to be prepared by the rural development. If it is about the communication, it is going to be prepared by the communication ministry. If it is about the railway, it is going to be prepared by the railway ministry. But final approval, okay, that means they are going to make a plan, but the planning commission is going to make a adjustment in that plans. So that is nothing but final approval. Final approval used to come from planning commission. Okay, and because of that there was non accountability in the implementation of plans, because the ministry was used to say that we prepared this plan, but that was adjusted by the planning commission, so we are not responsible if we get the desired result or we do not get the desired result. because we prepared other plan and you implemented other plan. So that is nothing but non accountability. No one was responsible. No one was responsible. Okay, and because of that there was clash, ego clash between the bureaucrats of planning commission and the bureaucrats of different ministries. Okay, and that means there was ego clash, that who is superior, whether cabinet minister is superior or deputy chairman of planning commission is superior. Okay, that means that was leading to over bureaucratization. We are discussing the critics. That was leading to over bureaucratization. That was leading to, because of this coordination. That means purpose of the planning commission was to have the cooperation among the different ministry so that the resources can be distributed, but it lead to conflict between the different ministry and planning commission and different ministry at one end. That was leading to bureaucratization, over bureaucratization and ego clashes. Second, other we were discussing implementation of plans, but there was non accountability on implementation, because they were saying that we prepared other plan and you implemented other plan, so we are not accountable. Not only this, other, let me rub it first, then we are. Other is resource allocation. That means planning commission was responsible for resource allocation to different ministries or different states. Planning commission was instrumental for resource allocation to different ministries or different states. And suppose there is different state government at the center, and a government is different party government is there in some state, suppose ABC, and it was seen that the central government used to do stepmotherly behavior to those states who has other party government for the resource distribution. For the resource distribution. Okay. So because of that, there is politicization. Politicization of the plan. Okay. So that was again conflict. Not only this, earlier resources was distributed by the finance commission. The resources earlier, the resources among the different states was distributed by finance commission under article 280. Now resources were distributed by planning commission. So that means finance commission is a constitutional body and it is a executive body, so it was undermining the authority of finance commission. That resource distribution by the planning commission was also undermining the authority of finance commission, which was a constitutional body, meaning we were giving priority to the executive body over the constitutional body, and nothing is supreme in this country other than constitution. So that was undermining the authority of the constitutional body. So because of that, we established a Niti Aayog, and in the next class we will discuss Niti Aayog. Thank you very much, dears. Today we finish here only. We will continue on Monday. Thank you very much, dears. If there is any doubt, let me know. If there is any doubt, let me know. Can we stop here? And to get PDF of this class, just join my Telegram, that is Pradeep Testbook. Search Pradeep Testbook and join it. you will get the PDF of this lecture. Thank you very much, dears. Thanks a lot. Can we stop here? We are going to stop. We will continue on Monday with Niti Aayog. Thank you, dears. Thanks a lot. And don't forget to join me at 8:30. 8:30. Time is at 8:30. Thank you, dears.